Hello, my name is Joanne Alco, a designer from By Alco. So today I'm here at Lovecraft to show you guys how to crochet this super simple beret hat. If you prefer a written pattern, it's free. You can check out lovecraft.com, but I would really suggest you also watch the video because it's necessary. So for the medium weight yarn, I used 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. You also need stitch markers, though this is optional. Most importantly, you need a tape measure for sizing. You also need scissors to cut off your ends, and you also need appropriate darning needle to weave in your ends. I normally use a small one so that I can secure my ends quite well. To begin, make a slip knot. Always leave a long tail to help you weave in your ends. And then insert your hook. So chain 6, 5, 6, and then make a slip knot in the first chain to create a circle like that. So once you have your circle, we are going to start making our round one. To start chain 2, the chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch always. So inside the circle, you're going to make 12 double crochet. So this is your first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 11 and 12. So once you have 12 double crochets, you're going to make a slip stitch in the first double crochet. Remember, the chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. So this is your first double crochet, and this is where you're going to make your slip stitch to join. So now you're done with round 1. To start off round 2, you're going to chain 2. Remember, the chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. So in your first double crochet, which is this one over here, you're going to create 2 double crochets. So 1 and then 2. So it's 2 double crochet in the same stitch. In the next double crochet stitch, you're going to create 2 double crochet as well. So 1, 2, and then you're going to repeat this until you complete this round. 2 double crochet in each stitch all around for a total of 24. So now you have a total of 24 double crochets. To close this round, you're going to make a double crochet in the first double crochet stitch and close it up. So now let's start off the third round. Chain 2. Remember, the chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. So in the first double crochet stitch, which is this one over here, you're going to create 1 double crochet, and then in the next double crochet stitch, 2 double crochets. So now we're going to repeat this. So in the next double crochet stitch, 1 double crochet, in the next one, 2 double crochet. So keep on alternating this until the end of the round. In the next, 1 double crochet, in the next one, 2 double crochets together. I'm almost winding up the round, so I have 1 double crochet over there, and then in the last stitch, 2 double crochets. And then once you're done, you're going to make a slip stitch in your first double crochet stitch to join. At the end of this round, you should be having 36 double crochets. To start off round 4, chain 2. Chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. So in the next 2 double crochet stitches, you're going to make 1 double crochet in each. So this is your first double crochet stitch. So make 1 double crochet, and then in the next double crochet stitch, 1 double crochet. And then in the third double crochet, you're going to form an increase by making 2 double crochets together. So we're going to repeat this. So in the next 2 double crochet stitches, 1 double crochet in each, and then into the third one form an increase by making 2 double crochets together. Let's repeat one more time. In the next 2 double crochet stitches, 1 double crochet in each, into the third one, 2 double crochet together. Repeat this until the end of the round. So I'm almost completing the round, so I'm left with making 1 double crochet in the next 2 double crochet stitch, and then 2 double crochet together, and I'm done with this round. So once you're done, you're going to make a slip stitch in the first double crochet to join, and at the end of this round you should be having 48 double crochet stitches. So here's a tip for you. If you analyze your work, you'll be able to see that in the third round, in between this double crochet increase, we'll call them an increase, there was only 1 double crochet in between. So in the round 4, now we have 2 double crochets in between the increase, and then in the 5th round it's going to be 3 double crochet in between. In the 6th round, 4 double crochet, like that. It will keep on increasing. Okay, and then another tip is where you have the increase in the last stitch is where you're supposed to make your increase. So if you find that your increase is placed in any other stitch, then something is amiss. So like in this case over here, we had the increase over here. Look at where we've placed our increase on this round. It's in the last stitch of here. So for round 5, chain 2, and then in the next 3 double crochet stitches, you're going to create 1 double crochet in each. So 1, 2, and 3. And this is where we made an increase. So in the last stitch, this is where you're supposed to place your double crochet increase always. So if you happen to see that your double crochet increase is not in this last stitch, then there's something that is amiss. So in the next 3 double crochets, 1, create a double crochet, 2, and 3, and then in the 4th one, create 2 double crochet together. Repeat this until the end of the round. I'm in the last stitch, and then I'm going to make my 2 last double crochet over there. To complete this row, you're going to make a slip stitch in the first one. To complete the round, you're going to make a slip stitch in the first double crochet to join the circle. So to start off round 6, you are going to chain 2. Chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. So in the next 4 double crochet, you're going to make 1 double crochet in each. 3 and 4. In the 5th one, you're going to form an increase by making 2 double crochet in the same stitch. So repeat this. Double crochet in the next 4 double crochet stitches, 2, 3, and 4. In the 5th one, 2 double crochets. Repeat this all around. At the end of round 6, make a slip stitch to join in the first double crochet, and at the end of this round you should be having 72 double crochet stitches. So I hope up to this point you've understood how the pattern is flowing. So now for round 7, I'm just going to guide you, and for the rest of the rounds, as for me, I'm going to stop at round 11. So I'm just going to guide you on how to go about it. So here is the tip. For round 6, you can see that we have 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's an increase now. So now for round 7, it's going to be 5 double crochets, 1 2 3 4 5, and then an increase. For the other row, it's going to increase. The 1 double crochets that you're making is the one that is increasing. Yeah, so now we have 4, the next one is going to be 5, the next row 6 7 8 9, like that. And also make sure that this increase that is forming a V here is only happening in the last double crochet stitch. And then another tip is, per round there's an increase of 12 double crochets. So like in this row we had 60, now we have 72, now it's going to increase to 84, 96, 108, like that. So I'm going to meet you once I get to round 11 and I'm going to show you what to do next. So I'm at the end of round 11, and so far this is how my work looks like. So you're going to take your tape measure and measure the circumference of this hat. So do not stretch too much, just measure the way it is. So mine is 25 inches and this is a good size. So for an adult, from 20 inches to 25 inches is fine, and the diameter of this is approximately 9. Let's just say it's 9 inches. Okay, so now the next step we're going to do is to start reducing our work so that it can be curved. To decrease your work, start by chaining 2. The chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch, and I'm on the 12th round, so I'm going to make 1 double crochet in the next 9 double crochet stitches. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 9. So after making the 9 double crochet, I'm at the increase area. So this is the area where we're going to decrease our work. So to decrease your work, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook in the next double crochet stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over, go into the next double crochet stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you're left with 3 loops. Yarn over and pull through the 3 loops together to form a 2 double crochet decrease, and this decrease should only happen where you have the increase part. Okay, so you're going to repeat what you've done over here to the rest of the stitches. Let's repeat that one more time. So it's 1 double crochet in the next double crochet stitches, and then when you get to the increase part, you're going to decrease, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, insert your hook in the next double crochet stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now yarn over and pull through the 3 loops together. So repeat this until the end of the round. At the end of the round, I have made my last reduction over here, so make a slip stitch to join and close it up. And at the end of this round, you will lose 12 double crochet stitches. Previously I had 132, so now I have 120 double crochet stitches. So this reduction will also make your work curve like this, and this is how the outer part looks like. So let's work on round 13. So round 13 is going to be plain stitches of double crochets, no reduction, no increase, so chain 2, and then make double crochet in each and every stitch all around. Just 1 double crochet in every stitch all around. You will have a total of 120 double crochet stitches. Even at the reduction part, just make 1 double crochet and then proceed. At the end of the round, make a slip stitch to join. And then to work on round 14, it's going to be a repeat of this, the 13th round, sorry. So this round is also going to have 120 chain, double crochet stitches. Okay, and then if you need to make your heart quite deep, you can add 2 more rounds, and then we can start working on the ribbing part. So this is at the end of round 14, and this is how it looks like. If you flatten this, it's going to take shape, and then this is how the outer part looks like. So now the next thing I'm going to show you is to start working on the ribbing part. So if you feel that you need to make your heart quite deep, then just add a few more rounds, like 2, but don't overdo it. But this size is okay, trust me, it's going to take shape. So now let's work on the ribbing part to tighten this area. For the ribbing part, start by chaining chains that are equivalent to 2 inches. As for me, I'm going to chain 11, but chain loosely because we are going to work through the back loop. After chaining 11, now we're going to work through the back loops over here. So we're going to make slip stitch only. So in the second chain from the hook, this is the first chain, in the second chain from the hook, through the back loop, make a slip stitch, and don't tighten your slip stitch. And then go ahead and make slip stitch through the back loop in all the stitches until you get to this point. Remember, the key is not tightening your slip stitches. So this is the last slip stitch. So by the end of this row, you should be having 10 slip stitch because you've lost 1 after working in the second chain from the hook. So to attach your slip stitch into the brim over here, you're going to make a slip stitch in your first double crochet like that. So at this point, you can measure your work. As for me is 2 inches, and this is enough for the ribbing part. So now to start off the next row, you're going to make a slip stitch in the next stitch and then turn. So how you turn is quite important. Turn towards the inner part, not on the outer part. Okay, so turn towards the inner part like that. And then we're going to work to make slip stitch through the back loop only. So this ribbing, we are only working through the back loop. So in your first slip stitch, through the back loop only, make a slip stitch. Remember, the key is not tightening your slip stitch. So go ahead and make slip stitch in each of those stitches, and then I'm going to meet you at the end of this round and show you what to do. So 1 stitch left, this one over here at the end of this second round. So in the last stitch, you're going to do something a little bit different. Now you're going to make a slip stitch through both loops, not through the back loop, but the 2 loops like that. So the reason why we're doing this is to avoid some gaps that would have been created over here if you worked on the back loop in the last stitch. So now you're done with row 2. To start off row 3, chain 1, turn your work, and at the beginning of every row you're going to work through both loops. So in the first stitch, make a slip stitch through both loops like that, and then now go ahead and make slip stitch through the back loop in each and every stitch. Just go through the back loop. So at the end of this row 3, you should be having 10 slip stitch. So this is your last slip stitch over here, the 10th one. like that. And then to attach your yarn, your work on this brim, you're going to make a slip stitch in the next double crochet stitch to complete this row 3. To start off row 4, you're going to make a slip stitch in the next double crochet stitch and then turn towards the inner part, and then you're going to start making slip stitch in the first stitch, and then through the back loop only continue making slip stitch, and then in the last stitch, in the 10th stitch, you're going to go through both loops and create your last slip stitch. So the pattern is quite easy. Now you're going to alternate row 3 and row 4 until you complete the ribbing. So let me repeat this one more time. To start off your row, it's a chain 1, turn your work, and then in the first stitch, you're going to go through both loops to make your first slip stitch. And then now you're going to go through back loop and make your slip stitches. Don't forget your last slip stitch. Keep on counting to be sure. And then to attach your yarn, your work on the brim, make a slip stitch in the next double crochet stitch. To start off the next row, make a slip stitch in the next stitch and then turn towards the inner part only. So keep on repeating this. After completing the rounds, you should be able to get something like this, very elastic. I'm done with the ribbing, so now I want to show you how to join your work. So this is my last row of slip stitch. So I'm going to join over here by making a slip stitch. So now the next part is joining this, and still we're going to use slip stitch. So this is how you're going to go about it. So insert your hook in the front loop of this other side. Move on to this other side and then on the top loop as well. And then make a slip stitch like that. Onto this other side on the upper loop, pass through on the other side on the upper loop, pull through and then make a slip stitch. Onto this other side on the upper loop, and then on the upper loop of this other side, and then create a slip stitch. So repeat this until the end of the row. In the last stitch, after making the slip stitch, chain 1, cut off the yarn and then tighten it off. So this is where my one ball ends, and I'm only left with this yarn out of the one ball, and this is how the ribbing looks like. It looks knitted and it's very elastic. It's going to give you a good grip on your head. So the next thing we're going to do is to fix the tip over here. I'm starting with the second ball to make the tip. So now we're going to create the tip over here. So to begin, make a slip knot. Always leave a long tail. And then attach your hook in one of the double crochet stitches over here. And then pull through. And then make a number of chain depending on how long you want your tip to be. As for me, I'm going to chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, and then turn. We're going to make slip stitch through the back loop the same way we've been doing the ribbing. So in the second chain from the hook, make your first slip stitch and then slip stitch in the rest of the stitches. This is the last stitch. Make your slip stitch. And then to attach your yarn, you're going to skip the next double crochet and into the third one make a slip stitch. And then to start off the next round, in the next double crochet, make a slip stitch. and then turn. So after turning in the first slip stitch through the back loop, you're going to make your first slip stitch into the next one. So you're left with 4 slip stitch. And then in the last slip stitch, you're going to go through both loops the same way we've been doing with the ribbing. Like that. To start off the next row, chain 1, turn. In the first slip stitch, go through both loops and make a slip stitch. And then now go through the back loop and work on your slip stitch. And now to attach your yarn, you're going to skip this, and then in the next double crochet, create a slip stitch. To start off the next row, make a slip stitch in the next double crochet, and then turn, and then repeat this until you get to this point. Once you're on the last row to join, you're going to go through the upper loop and the other side, make a slip stitch. So repeat this until you get to this upper point. After joining, chain 1 and then cut off your yarn. Leave a long tail to help you weave in your ends, and then tighten it off. And there you go, you have your tip. Then we're going to weave in and close this part. So now the next step is to close the tip. So you're going to use your darning needle and sew it together to secure it properly well. So weaving in is quite important, and I will suggest that you give it maximum attention because you don't want to feel wasted after all this love and energy you've poured into creating this piece. So weave in all your ends, even at the ribbing area, just securely weave in everything, even at the starting point. On the round one, make sure you secure everything quite well. So we are finally done with this piece, and this is how our beret hat looks like. So simple yet super cute. And when you turn it around, that is how the ribbing looks like with a proper grip. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Kindly share the video with your friends, and don't forget to check the free written pattern at lovecraft.com, and also subscribe to Lovecraft YouTube channel. So until next time, goodbye.